Hi guys, welcome back. This is part 4 of the original Little Bigfoot series. In this video we are making the legs. So the legs are the same for all the animals. If you're just here to see how we change colors, then you'll be fast forwarding this video. And I'll also show you how to finish off the top, so you can either make your little animal a sitting one or one that stands. And of course, as always, if you don't need help with the crocheted rows, then you can just refer to the written pattern and just fast forward to the parts that you need. Those of you who are crocheting along with me, then grab your crochet hook and let's get started. Alright, so we start with row 1, which is the same way we started the top of the head. It's a loop with 6 stitches. And remember, I went very slowly over this with you in part 1. So I'm just going to speed it up a little bit just to save time. And if you need help with that, you can go back to part 1 and watch it again. I also have another method here on YouTube. The video is quite old now, but it's another method called the chain 2 method. And that's the one where you chain 2 and then you put 6 stitches into the second chain from the hook. So either one will work, and that one should be popping up on your screen. So if you want to check that one out, it might be a little bit easier than this one. Although this one is my favorite method, and once you master it, it gives you a nice clean start to your amigurumi. So there was 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to close up my ring. And there was row 1 with 6 stitches. So remember when I told you that you can hide the starting yarn tail? So let's do that in this row here. This is row 2. We're going to put 2 single crochets in each one of those 6 stitches. And when we go through the first stitch, or you can wait a couple stitches if you want to, but you can go into the first one, grab your starting yarn tail and just hold it over the hook. And now you can crochet around it, and that hides it away. So there was 1. Going back in the same stitch I was just in and put my second crochet, and there was 2. Now I'll put 2 single crochets into the second, now into the fourth. You can also do this in the third row too, it doesn't really matter. Into the fifth. And last one, 2 single crochets into the sixth. And there we finished row 2. We now have 12 stitches around, and we've hidden our starting yarn tail in that row. Cut it free, just be careful not to cut any of your working yarn. We're going to add a marker. Row 3 is 1 single crochet in the first, and then 2 single crochets into the second, and then repeat that 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way around. When you land on the marker, you'll be putting in 2 single crochets. So I'll continue on with the pattern. You can pause the video, and we'll meet back here when we land on the marker. I'll finish row 3, and now we have 18 stitches around. Rows 4 through 6 is 1 single crochet in each one of those 18 stitches for 3 rows. So I'll continue on with the pattern. You can pause the video and we'll meet back here at the end of row 6. Remember, along the way your piece might start folding up on itself. Just remember to turn it right side. 1 single crochet in each one of those 18 stitches for 3 rows. I'll finish row 6. Moving on to row 7, we're going to start decreasing the round. 1 single crochet in the first, and then crochet 2 stitches together and repeat all the way around. When you land on the marker, you should be crocheting 2 stitches together. So you can pause the video and we'll meet back here when we land on the marker. I'll finish row 7. Row 8 is where we switch colors if you are making a 2-colored leg. Alright, so it's going to be the same as this one here. So let me do this one here and then we'll come back to you. So this row is about the same for both of you, except for we're going to switch colors in the last 2 together. Those of you with solid legs, add a marker. In row 8 we're going to decrease even more. We're going to bring it down to 9 stitches. So we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 2, and then we're going to crochet 2 together. And we're going to repeat all the way around, and when we land on the marker we'll be crocheting 2 stitches together. So this is actually done 3 times. So there was once, twice, and now last one in the next 2, and 2 together. And remember, if you start seeing gaps, and this might be where you start seeing them, you want to use that invisible decrease. Okay, so we're just going to put that aside. Those of you with the solid legs, you're now done row 8 and you're down to 9 stitches around. We're going to continue in a second, and we're going to do the same thing, except for we're going to be switching colors on the last 2 together. So bring in the color that you're changing to. Just lay it beside you. And we're going to do it together. So 1 single crochet in the first, 1 single crochet in the second, and now crochet 2 stitches together. 1 single crochet in the first, 1 single crochet in the second, and now crochet 2 together. Now we're going to do that one more time, and we're switching colors. 1 single crochet in the first, 1 in the second. Okay, now we're going to switch colors. So we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing, crochet 2 together, but we're not going to finish the stitch off. So leave that loop on your hook, go in. Now you have 3 loops. Hold the working yarn back here and hold it under your finger. Leave those loops on your hook. Okay, and we're going to hold it back there underneath the same finger. We're going to get ready to crochet on with our new color. Now we're going to switch fingers to hold those 2 yarn tails in the back. Now we're going to pull the new color through those 3 loops. So now we're finished row 8 and we're down to 9 stitches around. So before you let go of those yarn tails in the back, let's put a single crochet in those 9 stitches around. So make sure you're getting into the first stitch of the next row. And count to 9. 1. Now you can let go of those in the back. 1 in the second. 1 in the third. 1 in the fourth. 1 in the fifth. 1 in the sixth. 7th. 8. And 9. Now pull out your last stitch so you don't lose it. Break free from that color you were working with. Now we're going to knot off these 2 yarn tails. Okay, and now tuck them inside the foot. Now we're going to stuff the foot. I'm actually popping in with an edit. I didn't show enough of the stuffing the first time around, so I just want to make sure that you can see what I've done here. So I've stuck quite a bit in there. It's not overstuffed, and I can still shape it at the end. We are going to be shaping this foot a lot more once we get the animal all sewn together. We're going to give a final detail to the foot itself. Now we can continue on. You can add a marker if you'd like to, or you just count in your head. The remaining rows, rows 10 to 13, is 1 single crochet in each one of those 9 stitches for 4 more rows. So you can pause the video and you can continue on to row 13, and we'll meet back here at the end of row 13. So you with the solid legs, you're going to stuff the foot as well. You can add a marker if you'd like. Rows 9 through 13 is 1 single crochet in each one of those 9 stitches for 5 rows. 1 single crochet in each one of those 9 stitches for 5 rows. I'll continue on with the pattern. I'll meet you back here at the end of row 13. Alright guys, I've come to the end of row 13 on both of these legs. So I'm going to stop and we'll work on this one first, because depending on if you want a animal that sits, we're going to do it with this one. If you want an animal that stands, then we're going to do it with this one. So if you're making the sitting one, then you're going to follow me here. This one, stuff a little bit into the leg. Don't need too much. I probably put too much in there. Just need a little bit, not too much. Okay, so we're at the end of row 13, and we are going to shape the foot after we're done this part. So we're going to squeeze the top of the leg together, and we're going to single crochet through both sides. So push your hook through both sides. And do a single crochet in the next stitches over, pushing through again, and single crochet, pushing through. Should be able to get 4 in there. That was 3, and here's my final one. And there, finished row 14. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now, skipping the chain we just made, we're going to put a single crochet in each one of those stitches we made in the previous row. And now we're done. We can finish off. Leave a yarn tail for sewing, because you're going to use this yarn tail to sew the leg to the body. Pull the yarn tail through that loop, bring it down a ways, and then pull tight. So now this is going to sit underneath your animal. So we're just going to manipulate that stuffing in there to make the foot stand up. So when it's sitting underneath the bear or whatever you're making, it'll be like this. Okay, so now if you want to have your animal standing, again we have to stop and stuff the leg before we continue on. But you see on the ones that you've changed color, there it is, the color change, you want that facing inwards where people can't see it on the outside of the leg. So just squeeze your leg in half, and that changed color part should be in the center. Okay, now we're going to squeeze the top of the leg and single crochet through both sides, just like I showed you on the other one. And again, you should be able to put 4 across. And now we're done. Finish off and leave a tail for sewing. Okay, and now we know that part is going to be the inside of the leg. So when you sew the legs onto the animal, you see the color change is facing each other. So that's what I mean by making sure. So before we shape the next one, we're going to make sure that the color change, where did it go? It's right there. So I want that in the middle when I squeeze the top together. And this is the second leg. And single crochet through both sides. Okay, I'm going to finish off. Okay, so this one is going to be facing that way. So this one I know I want facing that way. And once we get it ready to sew them in place, we'll shape them more then as well. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Now we can take our parts and go over to the next video and we'll sew our basic body together. I'll see you over there.